As you all know, Excel is one of the most powerful tools for data management and analysis. So today we'll be exploring some advanced features to help you all work more efficiently. And we'll start with the overview interface, the worksheets that I have in front of us. And I hope you all have your Excel open so that you work along with me. So today we are gonna talk about a lot of things, which includes, direct link from another sheet, formatting, subtotals, data validation, and more. So we'll start at this worksheet, which is the overview, and we'll start with data linking. And when it comes to data linking, it means basically referencing data from another sheet. And what really helps with this is as you work on the sheet, sometimes you may make changes like, let's say you're starting in cell A2, and I would like to, let's say, get a total of a number, let's say 2 plus 2 is 4. But then I would like to reference the information I have here on another worksheet. Okay. And in Excel, one thing that I want you all to take notice, every formula starts with an equal sign. You should take note of that. Every formula starts with an equal sign. So let's start with trying to get link data from this source sheet to the overview sheet. So as I said, we'll start with the equal to sign, and then I'll click on the source sheets. And as you all can see, so I'll click on cell A2 and then press enter. As you all can see, right now I'm using the data or information from cell A2 in source. As you all can see, I referenced the information on this sheet, that's cell A2, to the cell A4 on the overview sheet. So if I am to change the information here to, let's say, Peter, and go back to the overview sheet, you can see that the changes that I made here has made effect over here too. So this is very important as in when you're working with two sets of information, and instead of you to, let's say, come back here and enter all the changes that you made at the other sheet, when you reference it or you link the data, it's so easy that the information that you have here would also take effect on this sheet. And this is what we call data direct link to another sheet. Okay. Okay. So, and I want you all to also take note of the formula bar here. As you can see, it's telling us that this is where this the information in this cell is coming from, source A2. If I don't want to, let's say I don't want to go to this source page and let's say reference from here, I can same way type equal to source, the exclamation mark A2, and press enter. And as you can see, it's still the information that is found here. So it's either you can choose between these two options to either enter it manually or you just select it and then it will take effect. So now we would also go to formulas and functions. And in Excel, there are different types of formulas. And as I said in the beginning, every formula starts with the equal to sign. So I will start with this formula that we call the average. But before I do that, just as I said that you can enter it manually here, let's see if, let's try something else. In cell C4, we would like to have the information, let's say we would like to have Colin here. And this box that you see here, it's always shows the current cell that you're working on. That's the cell name. So if let's say you're working on a cell, it's hard to, reference it's by column and row, you can just come here to see the name that you're working on. So just as I said that you can link the sheets, let's try to do it manually, but with cell B2, okay? So if I come to the overview and in cell B2, I type equal to. As y'all can see, I'm picking the data from cell B2. And this is the manual approach in terms, maybe you don't want to go back to, switch between different worksheets, you're in a hurry or want to do things quick. You can choose to take on the manual approach and you also achieve the same results. So now let's go to the formulas and functions. And I would like to, today we'll be working on this formula, the average. And just as I said, Excel has a lot of formulas that goes from sum, average, and every formula starts with the equal sign. So let's try and find the average of some series of numbers. So average, and as I said, every formula starts with the equal sign. So if I press the equal sign and press A, as you can see, I have the average formula here to use. But one thing that you should realize is, just as I said, you can choose to enter it manually, or you can select the range of cells that you like to find the average of. So let's go back to the source sheet and let's try to find the average of the final exons, the average. So in terms of finding the average, when you select the first cell, that is cell L2, good. And so we're trying to find the average of the final exon, these figures. And if I press enter, this is the average of the final scores. And I'm trying to, just as I was saying, data link. So you're trying to find the average of the information here. So if I change any information or if I change any of these figures, it will take effect here because if I click in it, it says average source L2, L5. So as long as the formula or where I'm taking the information from stays this way, any change that I will make here, here, or here will also take effect here. Just as we linked the information on the source sheet to get the average, we're going to try to find the average. There's a shortcut, all right? So we did this by copying, all these figures to find the average, right? One thing that we can also do here, let's try this. Okay, linking multiple cells, and there are two ways, and I'm gonna show you each of them. Okay, so direct link of the information on sourcing overview with autofill, right? So I'll select, we're trying to find the average of the homework values here. Homework, we're trying to find the average of this, right? And there are two ways, and I'll show you one on the homework averages, and I'll show you the other on the exam averages, all right? So we are trying to find the homework averages, which is here, the average of, these, all right? So if I'm trying to find, and this is the secret about direct link, since you're trying to find the average of, homework average, so I can just select, um, here, I can press equal to, right? And then go to the homework average and just press enter, right? What Excel, the trick, or this is a shortcut. Instead of what I did in the first example, just copying all these and then, try to press enter, I can just select the first one, go back to the overview sheet, right? Go back to the overview sheet, hold this right here, what you see here, and then drag it. So just as I did here, we're going to do the same thing with the homework, the exam average, but we're going to use another option. That's like, the copy and paste option. So let's start with this. We're gonna do copy the exam averages and have it pasted here, but with another method, all right? So let's select on the source sheets, we're going to select M2 to M5. And then Command C, I have copied these sets of data in these cells. I'm gonna come back to Overview, click cell 15 right here. And, let's use the home. If you click on home, you see the paste option, right? There are options. You can, if I choose to use the normal keyboard shortcut, Command V, there's an error. And this is why I want to show you the paste options. If I select this, come to the paste, and then paste values and number formatting. If you just copy and paste straight, it's going to be an error because of, the source formatting. It's going to be a reference error. So you'd have to paste. As you can see, there's a drop-down menu right next to the paste. Paste the values and the number formatting. And if you come back to the source, you can see. So now we're gonna go to data validation. And with data validation, let's start with selecting cell E4. And if you go to the data ribbon, right? Go to the data ribbon. As you can see here, there's data validation and data validation. If you select the drop-down menu, data validation, cell G4, and then we're gonna try list. It's like working with a data set, right? and selecting through the options that you like to select, right? So we're gonna have lists, and let's select source. Okay, source. Okay, so we have these options. Let's say you're working with a data set, so let's say names and people with where they stay, right? So if I click on, let's highlight the B10 to B16, right? And press enter, and I press OK. It gives me a drop down menu. So let's say I'm working with, a data set, alphabet, and then, I just enter maybe this is where lies stay, or you just change it. Basically, when working with the data, instead of, going back to type in the place or, doing it manually, Excel gives you the option to simplify things. Let me use that word, simplify things. And if you drop down, let's say you're working, if you drop down, you get the same thing. And with the drop down, as she said, you come to the right bottom. There's a plus sign, this plus sign. Whenever you drag it, it's basically copying the information of the cell above. This what the drop down, it's like referencing it. So if I drop down to like here, I can make, okay, alphabet, we have James, and then you kind of select the different options that you have here. Downloady. So now we're gonna use we're gonna organize basically organizing and sorting cells or information in Excel, right? And we're gonna use the sort and filter sheets. The first thing that I'm gonna teach you is freezing panes. And the freeze pane is found on the view ribbon. If y'all can go to the view ribbon for me. So it's right next to review, like, home inserts the view. So we're going to do freeze pane. So we're going to start by selecting cell C2, right? C2, which is AC under operating airline IATA code. Okay. And as you can see, freeze pane, it's right here. We have freeze panes, freeze stop row, freeze column row. And basically what you do is, let's say you're trying to view all this, right? When you scroll, it kind of moves the whole page away. But let's say you're trying to reference AC to, let's say, other or deplaned. When you kind of move here, it's hard to, see what you had here to reference what you have on. Let's say column C. You're trying to reference column C with column H. What Excel does is when you freeze pane, when I click on freeze pane, operating airline, right? With freeze pane, if you're trying to select, say you want to freeze these, you have to freeze or select the cell after it. So what I've done is, what you can see here is, if I move this way, I can still see operating airline and activity period. So if I'm trying to reference, operating airline to, let's say, price category code, this is the essence of the freeze pane. So we're gonna do sort and filter. And let's say you have all the, oh, okay, select it. Okay, good. You have all these data sets, you're trying to find something, or you're trying to select something, right? Sort and filter. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Sort and filter is found at the home ribbon right here. So sort and filter, to utilize sort and filter, you can either select, all the data or, the data that you're trying to select. So let me select all the data, all right? So with the sort and filter, which is here, right? You can sort, trying to find the largest to the smallest, basically that's what the sort and filter does. So, so to select, let's say, let me make this small. Click on the first cell. I want you all to do this to me. Trying to select the whole data sets. Click on the first cell, hold shift, and then click on the last cell. That's the easiest way to, select the whole data that you're about to work on. And we're going to utilize the same thing when we're doing tables too. So we're going to sort the data. I showed you the sort and filter. So you come to the data ribbon, click on sort. Let's say select this cell, cell A2, and I click on sorts. Okay. And click on sorts. Right? So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna sort this one. Okay. We are going to sort by operating airline. Right? We are going to sort this by operating airline. Let's start by sorting by geo region. Right? We're gonna add another level and sort by operating airline. If I press OK, as you can see here, the data has been, when you check operating airline, you can see that it has been sorted. When you check operating airline, you see Air China, this is it, All Nippon Airways. And when you come to geo region, you kind of see that this is Asia, Australia, Canada. So when you see geo region, you can see that it's randomized, right? It's randomized. Rating airline has been already, so I'm not going to touch that. Geo region has been randomized. I'm trying to sort it. So just as I said, hold, select, go to sort, geo region. Okay. You don't see what happened here. So you've kind of sorted to each geo region. So when looking through these data sets, it's easy to work on, let's say, reference on, I just want to work with, only Asia. This is it. I just work on only Canada. You have all your data sets sorted. We're going to move to tables, trying to create a table around, your data sets. But before we do tables, we're going to do special sorts, right? And you're going to see the relevance of special sorting this data sets. All right? Okay. So I'm going to sort, you know how we have how we sorted the geo region by, each region. Let's try and sort the days of the week. So I'm gonna on the data ribbon, you're gonna click on sort. Okay, okay, okay. Day. That's what we're trying to do right now. A to Z. And on the order, we're gonna do a custom sort. On PC is gonna be custom sorts, but on Mac is gonna be custom list. So we're gonna do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if y'all can see that on the custom list. And you press OK. And then you press OK. Can y'all see the difference now on the day column? So it's basically the same thing when you're trying to, just as here, if you want to sort by, the type, let's say type, custom list. Oh, no. Oh, okay. A to Z, basically. You have all downtown. Okay. You have downtown, Independence, neighborhood. So it's easy to work with, a defined list. And this is what the sort does. Okay. So while we have this, we're gonna move to creating a table. So with creating a table, you can select like, the whole data, as I said, or just, any cell. So select the first cell, hold shift, have the whole data that I want to tablize here. Okay. And then you click, we are going to use the insert ribbon. And on the insert ribbon, you see table. And when you click on it, you select basically the data sets or the range that you want to tablize. And when you press OK, this is it. So after creating a table, there are these ribbons, because you wouldn't use this. So when you press filter ribbon, it kind of removes this so that you get your standard table. And with the table too, you can change how it looks like. So you have all these options to change how the table looks like so that, do your preference. So when you click on the table, there's a table ribbon. On the table ribbon, this is where you can, oh, okay. And one thing I forgot to show you, so you can also change the table name right here. And this basically, it's like the name box that you use to reference your cells. Okay? Okay. So remove. And with the table, you can have, let's say, a couple of things that are the same with remove duplicates. And you press OK. 2 duplicates found and was removed. So anything that's the same, so you kind of get the whole standardized table. And with the table, you can also change, let's say you want to reference a cell, or let's say you're doing a presentation, you want to reference a cell. On the home ribbon, you can, change the formatting. So you can, just have a bold or, the color. So that maybe you want to make a point, you can do all these in the table. So basically, You can, just as I was saying, format it to, make a point, bold, so that, in terms of like doing a presentation, you can utilize all these options to make your point. So just as I was saying, just as I was doing, let's say you've made your point. You wanna undo the table. On the table ribbon, right under the remove duplicates, there's convert to range. And when you click on that, you see the table option, it's no more there. We're gonna do subtotals. We are going to sort data by, the category that you'd be subtotaling by. And I think most of this has been done. So just as I said, we're going to select the whole data. In Excel, whenever you want to work with a set of information, don't forget to select the whole data for this to be in effect. So we are going to work on the data ribbon. And on the data ribbon, you see subtotal. On the dialog box, the use function, right? Select count and add subtotal to select geo region. Oh no, okay, let's do this. Let's use two of them, okay? So that at each change in, let's use geo region. Let's do it this way, right? The first one, at each change in, let's use geo region and add subtotal to, let's use operating airline. And when you press OK, this is the subtotals. And as you can see under operating lines, you have the subtotal 25. We have 5. And as you can see under Asia operating airline, we have a subcount of 25. Under Australia, we have an operating airline count of 5. So you can experiment it with, each column, but basically the concept of subtotals is, trying to get two data sets, trying to see the total of each as compared to the other. To undo all this, just as you did, going back to subtotals, remove all, and you have your normal data sets. And then lastly, we're gonna do conditional formatting. And we're gonna use the formatting sheets. And basically, conditional formatting is used to highlight numbers based on certain conditions. And in terms of, data sets, data analysis, you can use that to see, the patterns and trends between different, columns of data sets or rows of data sets. Okay. So we're gonna start, and to find conditional formatting, it's at the home ribbon. We're gonna use, let's say with conditional formatting, when you click on it, you have, the highlight cell rules, greater than, less than, between. We have top to bottom, trying to find, a percentage or, a number of items. And then data bars, let's say you select a column of data, the bar's gonna show you the greater in terms of, the bars. And we're going to do the data bars first. Let's start with January. We're trying to find, which is greater. So you can choose between each color, Let's do gradient and then I'll do solid fill. So as you can see, this is basically how the data bar look like. So it kind of tells you, it's, let's say, a form of loading. So basically, the higher the number, the closer, the data bar is to the end of the cell border. So this is basically how, the data bars work. And you can choose between, a solid fill so that at least you can see it better. Let me try and do it like this. Good. And then we'd also do in percentages, let's say in a range from like, highest to lowest. It's the same conditional formatting though. We're gonna try the, top to bottom, top 10, top 15% rule. Okay. So let's do February. Conditional formatting, more rules, because I want to make it a little bit change, right? So let's do, okay, let's do this. Let's do February, right? We're trying to find, the top in terms of percentage. You come to more rules, because let's say you can choose the numbers here, but let's say you're trying to find a different number, like let's say top 15%, you come to more rules, right? And then you select just 15, right? 15, and let's change it to green field with dark. Let me change that. Okay, good. Let's try this. You see how that works? In terms of trying to select, the top percentage of a number. So basically, in February, these are the top 15%. So now we're going to do the highlight cell rules. So with the highlight cell rules, it's basically just as the word goes, highlight cell with, and then the rule that comes with it. All right? Select the cell, select the entire, select A2 to M17, and then go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. All right? So with highlight cell rules, you can do, greater than or less than. All right? So let's try the greater than, right? We're going to highlight cells that is greater than, give me a random number. This, oh no, it's gonna be a lot. Okay, this. So in terms of, let's say, you're working with school results, you're trying to find, the number of kids that got a score, greater than the number of kids, and you press OK. So this is the data sets that are greater than what we selected. So let me undo this and try duplicate values. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. This is duplicate values. Okay. Format or duplicate values. Fill with, me. So trying to find, people or the numbers that are the same. So you see how that also works? So let's say in terms of score or in terms of percentage, you're trying to find, oh, okay, these people got the same score. So let's say in May, there were in May, North Pulaski was the same as, Agard in October. So basically how the duplicate values work. Okay. So I would end here by, showing you how to, undo all this. And in Excel, you still have that option where you can go to the home ribbon, go to conditional formatting, and then clear rules. So you can choose to select from, the entire sheet or select a cell. So when you click on entire sheet, it kind of undoes the whole thing so that you get a fresh sheet to experiment on. And before I end, I would like to thank you for joining today's session